I was this close, y'all. This close from crashing out on Friday. Now, the reason why I didn't get on Friday and vlog, because you'll see, I was too emotional and I was not about to be on here literally crashing out on video. So I did not come on Friday and vlog. So what happened on Friday, I got this route. Well, I was assigned a route. When I got up in the morning, I forgot that I had that route. And then they texted me giving me my route number, and I'm like, oh shoot, I had a route. So I was already preparing to leave or whatever, but I had forgotten about the route. So actually when I got there, I got my route and I got started with the scanning and numbering the packages. And then I got a text from dispatch and they asked me if I could take a second route. So I said I would take the second route. And so on the app, the way the app is set up, you scan your items and then you create a route, and then you go back in and scan your items to see which number stop that item is. So I had already started I had already created a route with the first assigned route items, and then when they gave me the second route, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna start all over. I don't want to do all that because I had already started writing numbers on the packages. So I use this feature where you just add in a package. That's where I went wrong. So when you add in a package, if you do get a notification that says the route will not be customized. But I was thinking, okay, it'll still maybe take me a little bit here out of the way, a little bit there out of the way. Boy, was I wrong. So as I started to do this route, the first 13 or so, first 20 were my old route. So those were delivered, properly, optimized route. And then interject these next route, and it went from like A to Z, and then to like from A to like E again. So I had like all these other packages that I added in. So I'm thinking, they're all pretty much in the same area, so those items should be optimized in terms of the routing. I was wrong. The app had me zigzagging, going back and forth, wasting miles, wasting gas, wasting time, wasting daylight hours. Oh my goodness. It was horrible. So I was listening to YouTube videos and I was like, wait a minute, this is having me going all ripping and running all over the place. So by the time I realized it, it was like getting pretty late. Like I had 4 hours already into it. And I'm like, this ain't right. So I started to manually select the packages. You had to zoom in on the map, and I manually picked the ones that were close because it was literally having me going miles away, coming back, going another. It was awful. And so it got close to like 5 o'clock, and I was back on the portion that was my original route. And so I'm just like literally racing, trying to get these packages out because it starts to get dark early now, like 5:30. So I am racing to get these packages done before it gets dark. And I had my torch thing from like 1980s that I got from the garage sale, but I didn't have like my regular flashlight. And I have another flashlight that I purchased for like my hat or to put on my head, but I hadn't charged that up yet, and it's still at home in the package. So I was like, oh man, I couldn't find my flashlight, and it was the Sabbath. I'm like, I don't want to be out here. I wasn't supposed to be out here this late. And if this route had been optimized the way it was supposed to have been, I wouldn't have been out here this late. So man, I was getting ready to crash out. I was like, I'm just gonna toss these packages out of my car and go home. I was so close to crashing out and just like throwing these packages out and just going home. So after I got over that little emotional outburst, I got to my last I think it was like 6, and it was like super dark, and I was like, I'm just gonna go home and do these in the morning. Oh man, I had to talk myself off of that cliff. I'm like, you know what? Just suck it up and get it over with. So I went ahead and delivered the last 6, and I was like, man, I hope these houses aren't out in the boondock. Fortunately, they weren't too far from the city, and they were like in a real residential area. But man, I was about to lose it. I was about to risk it all because I was frustrated. I was tired. It was like an 8-hour shift. It took that long to finish, and I was hungry. It was dark. It had already started into the Sabbath, which I was not happy about, and like never again. So this week I do have a flashlight. I do have a light. Before I left, I did check the car to see that I had that torch thing, like, oh, just in case it gets dark. Man, I think I jinxed myself by saying that, because it ended up being dark by the time I got finished. But I am gonna make sure that I have my actual flashlight in here. I'm going to charge up that headlight flashlight thing that I bought, and I am going to make sure that these routes end before it gets dark. So normally this particular company, the routes are in the daytime, so and most times I'm done by 3, and that was like what I thought was going to happen on Friday. I thought I'd be, even with that long route, 3 o'clock is typically, like, I had a route that had 70 something packages, and this one was like 70, like almost 80 packages, but it was like 60 something stops, like 70 stops or something like that. So it was comparable to one that I had before, and it ended like around 3 o'clock. So that's what I had in my head. But this one ended like almost 7 o'clock. Man, oh man. So yeah, that's I can't even talk. I'm so upset. So that's my experience from Friday. Almost crashed out on the route, almost lost it all. But, you know, just praying, like, please y'all, please, like, let these houses be in a residential area where I can see. So I was able to get through that, but never again. Never ever. So man, so that was my Friday nearly crash out experience. And they contacted me on Saturday. I saw that they had texted me early. I was asleep, and then they called me. So that's how I woke. They woke me up. I'm like, can you take a route? I didn't answer, because by the time I got to the phone, it was it had went to voicemail. So I picked up my phone and I saw that they had texted. They texted again. Excuse me. So they texted again asking if I was available for a route, and I'm like, unfortunately, no. And I was not taking another route. One, because it was a Sabbath. I was not taking a route. And they keep putting me on for Saturday. I have to keep going on and rejecting because I don't work on Saturdays. So I just simply said, unfortunately, no. They had like 5 routes that needed to be filled. I'm sorry for them, but I don't work on Saturdays, and that's just how it is. So I was able to get some rest. Boy, I was exhausted. And I'm still kind of tired now, but I was exhausted. And yeah, that was a bit more than what I was expecting for it to be. But I'm gonna take responsibility for my part, because I should have just canceled out the other route and then just started all over again with all the packages and created an optimized route. So yeah, I will say that was on me. It wasn't on the company, but they did recommend that I just add the packages. So I don't know. I will give them some part of the blame too. So that's all. That was my little experience, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.